Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Goddess Jazzy Show. How are we this morning? First things first, I want to say a heavenly birthday wish out to my grandma, whose birthday would have been today, another Libra queen. I miss you so much, Grandma. I wish you were still with us, but I know you're resting and you're at peace. And it's my birthday in 4 days' time. Oh my gosh, I love my birthday. I love it, love it, love it. As I'm getting older, I love it more. Yes, it's my birthday and I'm so happy, and I'm going to keep going on about it. I'm going to keep on going on about it. So there we have it, yeah? Anyway, today's show will be really interesting. My guest is not far. He's actually next door, so I hope he knows to come in. Anyway, have you had a moment, yeah, when you pre-prepared yourself to be annoyed? I know it sounds funny, doesn't it? Sometimes people in your life pre-prepare you to be annoyed because you know what they're going to be like. Oh my gosh. So this morning I woke up with a spring in my step. I was really, really happy. Then my mood went down this morning and I thought to myself, I was pre-prepared for the annoyance, because I thought, you know, common sense, something that me and my son spoke about, common sense is not valued to everybody. You think everybody's born with it, but they really ain't. Honestly, they're not. You think, yeah, that person, this person, that person, but truly, man, and especially if there's an older person around you that hasn't got common sense, man, it's hard work. It's like pushing another child. Anyway, I want to say a shout out to my beautiful goddaughter who started university, like I said last week. Very, very proud of her. Her mum's birthday is this week as well. My best friend Jane, God rest her soul, God rest in peace. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of her doing her uni. It's really, really good news. I want to also say shout out to my son. I've already got my birthday presents from him, which I'm going to be carrying abroad because I'm going away for my birthday this year, as I normally do. So I'm going to be carrying them abroad and opening them there, you know. So I'm really grateful. Really grateful for the cake he made me. You know, Mum done it, yeah. She taught him and he came up with his own way of making the cake. And it was lovely. It was Oreo, banana, coconut milk, rice milk mix, because I'm allergic to eggs. And it came out great. And I had it with custard. You'll see it on my profile anyway. Yeah, like I said, today's show will be really interesting. But my guest, I wonder if he understands to come up. Anyway, we won't worry about that right now. Yeah, so have you ever, if you have, let me know. Have you ever came in to a situation where you are pre-prepared to be annoyed? You can be annoyed throughout the day, but you pre-prepare yourself for the annoyance. You're just like, oh, here we go. Here you go again. Which part don't you understand? Don't you get tired? I'm having a bit of a rant, but don't you get tired of saying the same thing over and over again? Especially when the person's of age, you know, and they've got common, and that you believe they've got common sense. If it's a child, it's a different thing. You have to keep on repeating. But an adult, oh, or do they put? Let me just be straight with you. Men or a man, is it something that they get a thrill out of, that you have to be on their back about simple things? I don't know. Anyway, follow us on Facebook on Love the Beat Radio, on Twitter at Love the Beat Radio, and at Instagram at Love the Beat Radio. For now, you can't really call in, but you can always also catch me on the Goddess Jazzy Media Instagram, where we can speak live, you can see me live and everything else. I'm hoping my friend from America, Mardi Gras, will ring in so he can say hi face to face, you know. He's in, sorry, he's not in America, he's in Canada. Sorry, my mistake, you know. Yeah. So I'm just really, really happy. So I want my happiness to stay, you know. 4 days to reach another milestone. Is that the right word? Well, each year is a milestone for me. But yeah, I'm extremely, extremely happy. Let me tell you something that happened within the week. Oh, a couple of weeks ago now. So like I said, I have low iron. So I'm very anemic. I went to the hospital. I was told to come to the hospital to have an iron infusion, which is iron iodine, which they infuse into your veins. I'm sitting down. Oh, here comes my guest. Here comes my guest. Bear with me a second. Let's see. Let him play the buzzer in. Yeah, there he is. 1 second, peeps. Hold on, hold on. A little bit of dead air. Hold on. Oh. Hello, lovey. Come in. You in? Yeah. come up. I'm still online. Come on. Okay. Hi, I'm back. Sorry for that. Anyway, as I was saying, a few weeks ago, I was booked to have an iron infusion. That's where they infuse you with iodine. So I'm getting ready to have this done, and the lady says to me, we're getting ready to give you a blood transfusion. Now, I said to myself, thankfully I used to work with the NHS. I said to the doctor, I'm having no, I'm out of breath. When you get old, you get out of breath. Oh dear. I said to the lady, I'm having no blood transfusion unless it's coming from my son. She said, oh, Miss Wright, the blood's been screened and everything else like that. I said, no, you never told me that, and it's without consent. In fact, how dare you? How dare you prepare people like this? Like I said, what we do, I think people are scared to ask doctors questions. My advice to you is never be scared. Always ask. It's your body, it's your life. But I believe I'm going to be making a complaint about that, because supposing I was somebody else, an elder, and I didn't know, and I had a blood transfusion thinking I'm having an iron infusion. So I left without having my iron infusion, and I'm going abroad to get my whole lot of iron infusion. Yeah, natural food and everything else, and a bit of pork. And my lovely guest is here. Oh, come and sit here, love. He's just setting up. Oh dear. So yeah, that was that. So I put it on my TikTok that people should beware, because you don't know what you're getting, and it could be quite detrimental to your health. And what if I passed when I took this blood? What are you going to put down? Mrs. X got this contaminated, or what have you? No, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Welcome. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Tell the viewers and the people who you are.
My name is Paul,
yeah.
And I on TikTok I have got a channel called That CMS Guy.
Yeah.
And I kind of started it about maybe 8 to 10 weeks ago, maybe a bit less than that.
Oh, it's quite recent.
Very recent indeed. And
okay.
And the reason why I started that channel is that there's an agency called the Child Maintenance System.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just both take a deep breath for that one.
And
yeah.
I just felt really moved to do something, anything at all, to try to bring attention to the issues that the child maintenance system causes to thousands and thousands of families across the UK.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible. I mean, words can't really express what goes on for fathers and even mothers.
Yeah. And even grandparents as well.
Even grandparents as well.
Yeah.
Who have cases with the CMS, which we can definitely talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like me to?
Yes, please.
To discuss that?
Yes,
well,
please. Yes, please.
So the reason why I started the channel is because I had a case with the CMS.
Okay. Do you have children?
I have one son.
You have one son. Okay.
And when it was the CSA, I paid a monthly amount, but actually initially they took the money out of the account.
Yeah.
And they refused to allow me to discuss my own finances with them, how much I was earning. I had to go to court on a regular basis. So the evidence that I provided to them, they were just completely disregarding.
Okay.
And only I'm not besmirching the mother of my son, but they would only take her point of view. And obviously, if you're a person who wants to provide for your child, and they're saying, oh, he's earning this much, and you're entitled to that much, you're just going to go, well, where is it then?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not about blaming women. This is about a system that is completely broken all the way through. And I went to call last year with my new wife, Karen.
Congratulations. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Who has, and I've got to say that I couldn't even deal with this a few years ago.
I can imagine.
Every single time I got a letter through the post, I was completely shell-shocked, PTSD is used on a regular basis, but I just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. How old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
My son is he's 13 years old.
Okay.
And so I've been paying child support for at least 12 years, so nearly 13 years, but not quite.
Yeah.
And
so that's the majority of his life, anyway.
Most of his life.
Yeah.
Well, there was a period of time that I was unemployed, and then when I started working, they said I had an arrears of about, I think it was about £800 to £1,000, and that's the reason why they went into my account and took all the money. And then,
so without contacting you, they just without consent.
Well, actually, I contacted them afterwards, and I said I need to be able to pay my bills. I've got rent to pay, I've got council tax to pay, I can't get to work. If I can't get to work, how am I going to? They said, well, this is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to pay for your child. Now, echoing all the hearts of men out there in England, that if you're a father who loves your child, you want to provide, and that is that's a commendable attribute for any parent to have, to want to provide for your child.
Yeah.
However, the CMS is using that against fathers.
But why do you think that is? What is their sole purpose? I mean, financial. But what is the reason why they can't make us be together, make the parents be together, grandparents be together? What is it?
So so for instance, on my channel, I did a little deep dive into poverty, and what is poverty. So poverty in the UK has traditionally been about how much you earn. So there's a thing called relative poverty. You are you are impoverished relative to your neighbours. So if you're in an area which has got low income, you have relative poverty. Okay. Your status of living, your standard of living is pretty similar to everybody else around you. But so poverty has always been considered to be about how much you earn. But about 12 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, I can't remember the MP's name now, it escapes me, but the definition of poverty was more or less changed in the public perception. Yeah. Now, instead of it being about how much you earn, it's to do with being a single mother. So if you're a single mother, you're considered to be in poverty, and the stats show that actually, if you have a child within the child support system, and you're a single mother, the likelihood, not every single case, but the likelihood is that you're going to be doing financially a lot better, especially if you're in fully employed as well, because you get child tax credits, you get other benefits as well, plus the CMS if that gets paid as well. So the likelihood is that financially you're going to be doing a lot better. But the government's point of view is that the definition is that you are a single parent, so therefore you're in poverty. So if you're in poverty and you're a single parent, who's to blame? It's those vagrant fathers. It's those fathers who are not in the home. Those are the ones who are at fault. But the reality is, and the statistics are, that 70% of women leave. Sorry, 70% of women end their marriages, and it's about 70% of women who are single parents. So that there's a correlation with that statistic.
You know, I believe you with that, because I recently found out that once you've paid child support, and this shocked, sorry people, I know I'm not supposed to swear and everything, but it shocked the rear end off of me. Yeah. That, say if my son wasn't to, I've got 3 grandsons, see them for a day, she will lose out that money. Yeah. So instead of him being able to see, she'd rather not let him see him and collect the money. Is that normal?
I think what you're touching on there is a really interesting point, because the CMS, the way that it's set up, it's supposed to be facilitating both parents to arrange finances for their 1, 2, 3, or how many children they have in an amicable, fair manner. That's what you'd expect, because we're not dealing with we're dealing with parents. On the whole, we're dealing with parents. Okay, there are going to be parents out there who don't want anything to do with their children. They don't want to support their children. They don't want to engage with the mother of the child. They don't, or the mother doesn't want to engage. Yes. But the way that it's set up is that they fully believe the mother, So the mother says this man is earning £100,000 per year.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And so therefore you have a situation where the CMS go, and this is where it gets tricky. The CMS have access to HMRC, so they know exactly how much you're earning at any time. And yet, even though they have that information, they will only believe the mother if the mother says, no, he's earning £60,000. I want to be able to get my 12% or 16% or whatever it is. And so so what will happen then is that child support will then send a letter out to the father and say, well, you have an arrears of this much because it's been calculated. And then the father's going, hold on a minute, I earn £21,000. Why am I being asked to pay like a £5,000 arrears? Where's this money coming from? And then they say, and he says, and he contacts the CMS and he says, well, I'm not earning this. Do you have any evidence?
Yeah.
So the father then goes, right, what evidence do I have? So he contacts the HMRC, he takes his pay slips, and then he puts it online, and online doesn't really work, so it's a bit of a fail, so it's a bit of a failing system where it may or may not be uploaded, or he sends it by post, and he says, right, I sent you the information. Yeah, we haven't received it.
Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't received it? Well, yeah, we haven't got anything. There's nothing on record. But I called you last week and told you. Yeah, there's nothing on the telephone to say that you've contacted the CMS at all. You need to provide evidence. So now you need to provide evidence, and also because there's arrears and we think that you're not paying, we're now going to take you to court. And up until March, they will be able to take a father to court on false arrears that don't exist on the basis of what the mother has said.
And they could easily just check this.
And they could easily check this at any time. And then they will seek to put a liability order in place for a father. And that then puts that father in a very difficult situation where he must pay, otherwise it's a consequence. And what are those consequences? So a father who's on a liability order can have his passport taken away, his driving license taken away, potentially his own property taken away. He can, or he can even face prison. So you go, well, so there's all these consequences that a father could. Yeah. So what that you can understand why they would want to, a number of them get out of the system. So let's talk about how many deaths there are per year. Yeah. There are estimated 1,000 suicides every single year on the basis of a child support assessment that's overestimated the income, will not look at the evidence that a father has to suggest that he doesn't earn that amount of money, and the CMS will completely disregard that information, causing a father to think that there is no other solution when he's earning, say, £2,500 a month, but then expected to pay £2,000 of child support arrangements with arrears and all that, leaving him with anything from £100 to £200 or £300 for that entire month. The amount of fathers who are living in cars, who are facing eviction, it's extensive, and this is going on all the time. There is so much I could say about it. Yeah, God, it says in my eyes, it does. It's eye-watering.
Yeah. Morning, lovey. Morning. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Oh my gosh. But you know that, like I said, the shocking thing is the new thing. You're comfortable, love?
I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
The shocking thing is about the more you pay, they're happy that way. That knocks me off, because how can you be happy that the government's looking after your children in that respect? If you've got a disability or what have you, fine. But if you've got a great father, why would you do this to him? Why? Why?
I can understand. I think most.
I'm frustrated because I'm a grandma.
Absolutely. I mean, I think most people can understand that when a marriage or a partnership breaks down and there are children at the centre of that relationship, there needs to be a discussion about the finances, and people can understand that. I think that's reasonable. It's sensible. Yeah. And it's reasonable and sensible that if they can't, because not to be disrespectful to any woman out there, but sometimes when a marriage or a relationship breaks down, there can be resentment. Yeah. And what the CMS kind of do is that they they allow,
like they enable it.
They enable this resentment
between
the mother and the father with the child in the middle. So what they do is they say, and I've heard of this, if you don't allow that father to have this time, you'll get more money.
Oh.
So you might have you might have in place that it's 50-50, or you know, he sees the children you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, gives the child back on Sunday, but then the CMS will have a conversation with the mother and say, do you know, you could get more money if you did this, this or this.
People, whoo. So,
and did you know that the CMS, when a father makes a payment, they take 20% of whatever the father earns. So whatever the father. So
for what? What is that?
So if you have one child, that's 12% of your earnings from gross. Now, what father out there pays for their children from the gross?
And can't be able to see them. That's the part that knocks me off as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't you see them? You're paying this good money, and you still the woman still won't allow you to see them. Exactly.
How many fathers are out there right now who are paying? Yeah, I've got people that even today I was talking to somebody, and I'll talk about it later on.
Yes.
The amount of fathers who are contacting me.
Morning. Good morning.
The amount of fathers who are contacting me, and they're saying to me, I'm paying.
You're paying and you can't see your children.
I'm barely surviving.
Jesus.
I can just about pay my rent. I can just about get to work.
Eat or anything.
I've got 3 kids. I haven't seen them for 2 years. I'm paying. And they're asking me for even more money. Why are they doing this? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And they won't listen to the evidence. I'm at my wit's end. That story there is replicated thousands of times.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, most men want to be in their child's life.
Yeah. 100%.
And 2, if they can't be in their child's life, they want to support that child in whatever way they can. Now, but let's look at the narrative that's played out for fathers. If you pay, you're a good dad.
Yeah.
You're a wallet because you're a good dad because you're paying for that child. If you don't pay for that child, you're a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
So that's the narrative played out. The narrative played out for the single mother is, you're in poverty. You're a single mother. You've been left. You might have actually ended the marriage or the relationship, but you're the victim. You're the victim in this situation, and none of that is true. There is so much more complexity and grey areas in relation to how relationships break up. I mean, I was speaking to somebody yesterday, the feminist house Bunny, who's on TikTok. She's absolutely fantastic. She's a men's rights activist. And she was just talking about similar situations about how fathers go through such
so much like that. I know, so much. It's just so painful.
Yeah,
it's so painful. You know, because and the thing is, I have to be impartial, but for this topic I can't because I'm part of it. I'm part of it badly. It's
when I started the channel, I didn't know as much as I do now.
And in 10 weeks, you got all this research and started to put it together.
There are people out there like Noel Wilcox and what's his name, Brian. Oh, what's his name? I've got to get his name. Brian. I keep forgetting his name. I'll find his name. And I'll...
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Brian, what's his name? What's his name? He did some research into the CMS anyway. So he was an individual who was married and had a successful business.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, it's my next guest. Okay.
Oh, that's Sally.
All right.
That's Sally.
You can do the honours there. Just press the buzzer.
Yeah, sure.
We're family now. You can catch us on Facebook on Love the Beat Radio, Instagram at Love the Beat Radio. Just that phone.
Downstairs.
No, just press that. Pick that phone up, just there, and press the buzzer. Yeah. So also you can get us on Instagram at Love the Beat Radio, Twitter at Love the Beat Radio, and Facebook at Love the Beat Radio. And we haven't got a phone at the moment, but you can also contact me on Goddess Jazzy Media on Instagram Live right now and join in. And our next guest is going to come in and we're going to still be talking about this conversation. Oh my God, poor man. You know, they don't want to unite nothing. They just want to divide
and then profit off it.
Yeah,
well.
I didn't know they were profiting like that with the 12%. I didn't know that part.
They're making something like £3 billion.
And where's that money going to then?
That question there is a very, very good question.
Yeah,
where is it going?
Is it going back into the services? Is it going to aid anything else, or is it just there for their pockets?
There are something like £3 to £4 billion worth of arrears that have been collected that are supposed to have gone to mothers.
Yeah.
And no one knows where it's gone.
Where it's gone. So what we need is a good old haul out of them. Do you believe that that system should still be here? And if not, what should be there?
I don't think it should be there in the way that it is. I think that, personally, I think that the Child Support Agency should be an agency that supports families, and it should have some teeth, because obviously there are going to be people who don't want to engage, but primarily it should be not financially incentivized. See, what you've got is the family court system and then the CMS, and it's all financially incentivized. Now, in the Netherlands, they took the financial incentive to remove contact from fathers away, and the family courts just completely emptied overnight. And then what was left was basically child care, without mothers feeling that if I take away contact, I'll get more money.
God, okay, even hearing you say it, it's just like, I can't believe it.
I mean, it's a strong temptation. If you are a person who is on meager earnings and you feel that you could get a little bit more money, then
you're gonna let your child or children not see the father because of that little bit of extra money.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't think I could do that.
No, me neither. I wouldn't, especially if you've got a good. It's a different case if there's different parents out there. But if you've got a great father that's doing all that he can and everything else, why are you doing this?
And imagine all these fathers out there, and I'm speaking to all those fathers out there now who are doing excellent jobs, working really hard, and they're all in pain. They're in great emotional, psychological pain, because the CMS doesn't just put fathers into a situation where they feel they've got no choice. They are being financially abused.
Jeez.
So on top of not being able to see their own children, they're being financially abused as well.
Yeah.
So imagine these fathers, the workforce out there, they're going to work on a daily basis doing the best job they can, and they feel that they failed because they're not seeing their child, but they want to do as much as they possibly can, and no one is speaking about it.
But today we are.
But today we are. Today we are.
Today we are. We're not letting it go, and we're going to keep on talking about it. You know what I mean? We're going to keep on talking about it. So people, I'm going to put on a song. Ah, are you here? Hello, my love. Come in. Come and join us. Bring a chair. Come round.
Sally.
I'm going to put on a song and let's greet. Hold on a minute. Let me put on a song. People, we'll be back in a moment. But I'm going to put on the song. Hold on. I'm feeling rather,
Yeah, sit down.
Let's put down a song, and so we can thingy. You know how the Goddess Jazzy show goes. It goes like that. It's never scripted.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here.
1 second, honey. I'm just going to put on this song so we can make you comfortable and everything. If it happens, there's a thingy now. Oh, dear. Where are you? Oh, dear me. Right, people. I hope you're tuning in. And as you can imagine, I can't get the YouTube up. Oh, dear. Hold on. No, it's not happening. Okay. Maybe not. Okay. It's not happening. Who have we got here now? What's your name, my love?
My name is Sally.
Sally, nice to meet you, Sally.
Yeah,
Come.
you too.
There should be a chair there, Sally. Is there a... Just under here, look. Come on, Sally. So we have Sally here as well. We're still talking about this. I'm trying to hold my tongue back, but inside I'm fuming. I swear to you, I'm fuming. I'm smiling, but I'm fuming, yeah. Because certain things I found out recently, that the more you pay, if the mother she can have the whole week without, how can I put it? She misses one day. How did I explain it? So I have to get it right. I just found out from a few people, young people said that she will get more if he doesn't get to see the child. Yeah. What kind of normality is that? What kind of normality is that? Please, you know, I'm just thinking back in my time. It beggars belief that. Oh. Sorry, people, you know this. We keep it real here. There we go, my love.
They just saw out the mic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was shocked. And this was from young people like my son's age group, 32 and all that. And I was just like, what? So she would rather keep that money and let him not see the kids.
The whole system is set up to support women from the beginnings of family court into the separation process, both legally, structurally for services. It's set up that way. False allegations, there's no comeback for false allegations. It's the only time that somebody has accountability for their actions is when a parent takes civil action. So it's very rare that the court will put somebody through outcomes for their false allegations. Just to be sure, one allegation can instigate up to 12 actually, but on average 7 organisations investigating that for up to 18 months. So the cost to society is massive. With the CMS, there's a push for women to be. I am the parent. I'm the dominant parent. I've got child's benefits, so therefore I'm the one that's in control as far as services are concerned. And then they step into that zone of thinking, I'm scared, I'm worried, because some mums are. They're newly single, and some mums are worried how they're going to survive. They're worried about, you know, dads stepping up and staying because there's all this massive narrative in the community. Dads may just disappear and start a new life. The actual reality is the system ends up pushing that dad away. The child maintenance service, it sets up incentives. I can't stress how much this is a fraudulent department. I can't stress how much. We've done 2 years research, and the research, there's undoubtable evidence. It's not even just case studies and people that have gone through that. These are government reports. These are their own government reports that show that there's a heavy fraud going on, and I believe it's massive. I believe it's millions a year. From what we can see and we know, it's millions of pounds.
That's what I was asking, Paul. Where does that extra money go? If you're taking from everyone, what are they doing with it? They're not putting it back into the services. They're not aiding anything. So where is it? Where is that?
So in 2021 to 2022, there was a £78 million debt. Okay, Child Maintenance Service said that they weren't in a position to be able to chase that debt. They couldn't afford it. Now, the structure in any financial setting at all, we have to keep finance records for 6 years. They're between 6 and 20 years in governance. Okay, that's the legislation. Everybody has to keep their financial records for 6 years. Okay, we're talking about ICO, Information Commissioner's Office. We're talking about debt management services. Everybody has to. The CMS has got an agreement that they can delete all files after 14 months. What? Now in 2021 to 2022, they identified they had a £70 million debt they couldn't chase. They deleted those files before the National Audit Office could go in and see, where's this debt? Who's got this debt? Now for me, you could surmise that 78 million, they may have collected it, there's no record of it, where's it gone? And also, who's that debt? They're supposed to be working for mums, or paying parents, resident parents. So 90% of paying parents are dads, and 10% are mums. So, you know, I don't want to make this a gendered thing. There's 100% of paying parents paying to what they class as resident parents. We don't know how that money's being managed. We don't know who's got in it. They're deleting files before the National Audit. I mean, this is government body, the National Audit Office.
So who right, I have to word this right now. So who can stop this?
Well,
who in the government, if I use that word loosely, can stop this? Can our government, can he put a stop to that?
So in March this year, the Select Committee, the Department of Work and Pension Select Committee, did a consultation to look at how the CMS was operating. We Split the Difference is the organisation I run. We went to that consultation. We took parents with us. One of those was a sister of a man who had committed suicide. So they held a consultation process for paying parents and resident parents.
Yeah.
When they got back into Parliament, they know what is going on. Their own reports know what's going on, yet nobody takes control of that. Nobody takes accountability. We've taken cases, we've been doing this for just over 2 years now. We have written to every single MP in the whole UK.
Wow.
We've written to every member of Parliament that's governing a committee that's related to the Child Maintenance Service, or DWP. We've written to every single lead. We've written to the National Audit Office. We've written to the House of Lords. We have done a consultation process which had an amazing response, just under 600 parents, both paying and non-paying, the resident parents. And we've shared that data. And when you write to them, the Prime Minister will push it towards the DWP, who pushes it towards the CMS. The CMS will say, take it to tribunal. You take it to tribunal, it's 18 months. These are individual cases. It's like a game.
A domino.
Pass the parcel.
Yeah.
And no matter how long you do that, nobody picks it up. I mean, the damning thing for me is that you've got government reports. I would say I only work from Truth and Evidence.
Yeah.
All of us do, right? So you've got government reports between the National Audit Office, Parliament, DWP, CMS, and CSA when it was CSA. You've got a history of government reports that show, their own reports that show that these figures don't add up. They show fraud. In Parliament after the Select Committee in March, it was a massive, massive committee meeting, and it was filmed, it was televised. And in there, the Select Committee said, we have to do something about the fraud. And that was all he said. So I believe there are certain people who are saying these things, and then it gets buried. And nobody picks up on it and takes control of it.
This is so...
I mean, one of the reports, just to let you know, one of the reports in 2000, this is how complex this agency is. When it was the CSA, we have a case in 2006.
When did it change from CSA?
2012. So it changed from CSA to CMS in 2012. The reason it changed was they said it was decommissioned and recommissioned. It wasn't. All they did is remarket it. They used the same bank accounts, the same staff, the same management structure. Nothing changed. So in 2006, one of our dads, he received a letter saying he owed £6,000 in debt. Okay. That £6,000 he fought. It took him 2 years. He fought it. He received a big official letter saying, we have recalculated, you are right, it is a mistake. In 2018, this Serco released a press release saying, we have collected £1 billion of arrears from paying parents. Now these are false arrears. They're £1 billion of the false arrears. In 2018, one of the leaders of the CMS said, we have now deleted all of the files from the CSA deal. There is nothing left, okay? In 2019, a year after those statements were released, our dad from the 2006 debt had a letter on his doorstep on Saturday morning saying, because you didn't pay that debt in 2006, you now owe us 18 grand. He was marched into court. He had a forced order put, no matter, he sent all the evidence, he had it all. He was marched into court. He had a forced order placed on his property. If you miss one payment, we're taking your house off you. He's now paying £600 a month to an 18 grand debt that he doesn't owe a penny for, and he's evidenced. And that's how bad it is. So if they've deleted all their files in 2018, how did they find his debt? How did this debt materialise?
Miraculously,
his children are adults. When he wrote to him, his children were 27. His oldest child was 27. He didn't have nobody younger. So at 20, so you can,
it's heart-wrenching. It's so heart-wrenching. Oh my God.
And we've got parents dying.
Yeah.
And they've changed the legislation now. We have a private bill. They've attached the CMS to the domestic abuse legislation, and they're taking a case into court to give them, because every push in a court of law, every justification has to have a case that they quote in court. They're in the middle of doing that. They've got all of the recipe now, and we're going to see carnage. And I can't describe it.
Does that to do with the liability?
Yeah.
So that happened in March.
Yeah. So when I'm used to delivering services. Okay, so my background is in creating and delivering procured services, government services. So when you look at the situation in the community and you look at the situation in governance, having my experience, you can see how they're stepping towards doing something, right? You think, oh, why are they doing that? Oh, I can see it, right, why are they doing, oh, I know what they're going to do now. Okay. So they put a consultation out to talk to people about how is the CMS going, what's it doing. The government has to do that. It has to evaluate what the community feels or services feel about the way a service is delivering before it changes it. If you want to do it in a negative way, you'll do that just to tick your box, okay? You won't do it for reality.
Oh,
they did that in March. Then very, very quickly afterwards, a certain amount of people pushed through a private bill. That is now pretty much finished, signed, sealed and delivered. They also then attached the domestic abuse to that legislation. So now they're taking a case in, and what they're doing is they've built the legislation up to argue, so false allegations in domestic abuse, and for everybody's experience in its reality, this is not about you, but what we know is there's a massive amount of false allegations going through family court and other areas around domestic abuse for lots of different reasons.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've created this recipe now, and where they don't need to take anybody to court to take penal measures. That's not what's going to happen. It is the decision for things like taking your passport, taking your driving licence, putting somebody on tag. Those decisions now are made by an administrator.
Don't these people have a soul?
This is high-level fraud. This is multi-million-pound high-level fraud. We've got cases where dad is paying and mum's not receiving. So we've got cases, we've got case files where dad is paying the money.
And is he still being able to see the children?
No. Because they destabilise the relationship. Our questionnaire showed that 40% of parents have now been alienated from their children purely because of the CMS. They were fully functioning parents, sharing care prior to the CMS, but 46% of them now are alienated. 36% of them are saying that they see their children less. The system is set to destabilise the relationship.
Doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
So what's happening in society is that you're basically destroying society from within. You're deconstructing communities because you're preventing children from having relationships with their fathers predominantly. So what's going to be happening in 10, 20, 30 years time? All these children are going to be having psychological and emotional issues. And the reality is that the data is out that fathers' homes across every developmental status has an impact. So that's emotionally, psychologically, educationally, and across all the spheres. So you're going to have children growing up with mental and emotional issues because they didn't have a father. That's the destruction of society. It's profound what is happening, because when you have, even if families are broken up, having the father around is hugely positive.
Very,
for the development of that child. And if you have a child that's only developing through one perspective, so that predominantly is going to be the woman, how are they going to function in society and see things from men's point of view? How are we going to have a society that has empathy for the opposite gender? You have that by having a father and a mother in the
so
child's life.
What is their game? What is the CMS's game by breaking us up like this? What's their game?
Control, isn't it? It's control. And
I feel
also
like screaming. Income. You believe me? I feel like screaming and cussing.
Brian Hudson.
Brian Hudson, we got him. Okay.
Brian Hudson. He was the one who did the research into the CMS. So he had a partner or a marriage, and that broke down. And he was quite successful. Had a business of about 2 or 3 million, and a number of different people under him, about 30 people. And then what the CMS did after his relationship broke down is that they basically looked into all of those finances from the business, and essentially just destroyed his business. And then, in terms of calculating his funds, they calculated from when that business was really successful, meaning that he was literally just put into extreme poverty, had to live in a caravan. And him being the individual that he is, he looked really in depth, drilled right down into the CMS, and he's the one that exposed that there's approximately 1,000 deaths or more per year within the CMS. It's also even more elevated with women within the CMS than it is in the general population. So it's affecting men and women.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's, you know, he's found this data, and it's concrete data. I mean, really, it should be a national scandal.
Yeah.
But if you look it up on YouTube, there's only about 2,900 views on it.
Oh my gosh. And the thing is, you can't take them to court because they're all in it together. So it just doesn't.
We want to.
Oh, you're still going to?
Oh,
good.
We want to. We are trying to raise awareness to raise funds.
Okay.
So
where would you go? The high courts? Is it as far as that? I don't know.
We've got one of our colleagues is taking the government to court under a declaration of incompatibility, which means that the CMS legislation is not compatible with human rights. There's a section in the CMS legislation that prevents magistrates from looking at calculated data. So the only evidence that somebody can say I proved what I paid is this calculated data. But the CMS legislation prevents people going in there and showing their evidence, which then it strips them of the right to a fair trial, which is part of human rights. So he's taken the government to court under a declaration of incompatibility. We've been working on case files and people. When I started working on this, I was asked if I could support Ian Briggs, whose son took his own life due to the CMS.
What age was he? Was he young?
He was young. He was in his late 30s with 3 children, and he was left with, from a £52,000 a year income, he was left with just over £130 a month to live off, with false debt and a false secondary income placed on his account. So when we were invited, when I was asked if we could support that, I said there was 3 things. One, we had to get justice for parents because I looked at the data and the information. The second was we needed to take the government to court to challenge the legislation because that was wrong. The third thing was to do a trial by media, because we don't have to say anything. All we have to do is show the evidence, because we don't need to dress this up. When you lay it down, it's black and white. I've done everything. I've spoken to 5 solicitors' practices. We've had 2 barristers we've met with to try and get pro bono representation on a group action to take the government to court. I don't believe there's any other way to do this. We've lobbied, campaigned, wrote to everybody. I've met with too many people. Yeah. CMS has now got an APPG. They are now, the secretariat for that is now with a charity that supports.
What's an APP?
An all parliamentary group. It's where groups will be set up when there is something in society they feel needs addressing, and parliamentary members, MPs, will then formulate these groups and they will look at this, they'll research it. We were invited initially to give a presentation there, and then they took on a charity to run the secretarial side of it, and then we were blocked from delivering the evidence that we've got. I've tried and tried. So I've pretty much given up on being able to campaign or raise awareness in terms of governance. Yeah. So for us now, we are working really hard to do fundraisers so that we can get justice for these parents. There are literally tens of thousands. Yeah. We were members of a group, 75,000 parents. That's the pool of parents that we work from. And that's just the ones that are here and now. Yeah. You know, so we want to take them to court. Yeah. I mean, to right and all. Yeah. You know, why we were like really grateful that you were interested in this subject. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because
I'm part of it. I'm a grandma and she's playing up with my grandson. So yeah, and it's just.
And actually, what you're touching on there is a really,
because
really
it affects
important
us as well.
point.
I'm a grandma, and it affects me. You know, I'm 52 in 4 days' time. When am I going to see them? You know, it's not fair.
Exactly. My parents. I see my son every other weekend, and also, you know, it culminated in a hearing in 2018, which enabled me to be able to have summer holidays. But up until that point, you could yank it any time. Yes. And it means that when I don't see my son, they don't see their grandson.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's the same. You know, we're not.
She's blocked the phone for no reason. Exactly. Because she can have more money from my son.
And this is replicated.
It's crazy.
Out in the public, over and over again. All the grandparents. I mean, one of the special relationships that children have, and I had growing up, was with the grandparents.
You know.
I mean, it's vital. I mean, there's something special about. And it allows grandparents to have another wind of life, to be able to give and love and share all they've learned with their grandchildren, and for the grandchildren themselves to have a loving relationship with the grandparents. That's being thwarted
all the time, just taken away. As soon as we get close, as soon as I get close, taken away. It's just for our own capital gain.
But I think there are other payments in here, because statistically what we know is that
how can you give an incentive to a person, the government, as to say the CMS, and say if you don't, you can get. I just can't. Where?
This makes millions. I mean, on average, because they're a profit making agency, so they're running under a DWP, a Department of Work and Pension, but they're a profit making agency. They're subcontracted out to private businesses that run it. And their profit-making agency, they run by a business model.
Yeah.
On average, they make around 35 million a year profit out of parents, and then they gain.
Where does that money go?
It goes into their pockets. And then on top of that, on average, I mean, the last couple of years, they've then taken payments from the government around about 280 million. So there's a lot of money in that service being delivered. That's without the illegal money that they're taking, and the illegal amount of money outweighs what they should justifiably take. We know that.
Jesus, mercy. Honestly.
I mean, it's bad enough having to pay from gross, not from net.
Yeah.
I mean, what parent out there pays for their children out of gross income? No one. So the government and the DWP and the CMS, they're constantly making profit from the suffering of parents.
Imagine. And half of them are parents themselves. Can you imagine? This is the thing.
They go against debt legislation, corporate manslaughter, fraud, modern day slavery, the behaviours that the questionnaire that we put on the website, every question on there is aligned to a piece of legislation. So when the parent answers the questionnaire, what they're doing is they're answering a question to the legislation to show that they're not adhering to the law. And so the data that I've got from there is quite profound. And people just wouldn't believe. We had, there was a journalist in the first year of our research, there was a journalist who looked at the data and said that the evidence is so profound that this is bigger than Watergate. Now, Watergate shut down the American government.
Yeah.
And he said this is bigger than Watergate, and I feel like I want to shout and say, this is all the evidence. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you in any which way I can, because this is wrong. Did you know that if you grow up in a single mum's home, all right, your children are more likely to take drugs, have teenage pregnancy, drop out of school, be homeless, go to prison. The list is endless.
Yeah.
Whereas if you work up in a single father's home, the stats are completely different.
Definitely.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely believe that.
And most men who are in prison today, I think it's quite. What's the percentage? You know the percentage?
Yeah, last time I looked in, it was like 72%.
72% of them come from single parent mother homes.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
So what's going on there?
I can't believe. I think we're going to go in a break in 2 minutes. Have a little 5-minute break with the news and that, and reconvene, because honestly, I'm shaking my head inside. I have to be professional, but inside I'm just like,
I mean, this is something that we are dealing with. I mean, I'm on TikTok if anybody wants to check that out.
Yeah,
so
definitely do.
You know, it's that
and
CMS
you must come
guy.
back again. I mean it. Yeah. You have to keep this.
Check out that CMS guy. There's loads of stuff there and also Split the Difference. We put out loads of information about the CMS, about the arrears, about the legislation, about I've interviewed Ian Briggs, whose son Gavin Briggs was, he committed suicide. There's so much information out there.
So what do they do once they've heard that? Once they've heard that there's been a death?
Well, we need to change attitudes towards this type of parenting, because whilst the propaganda machine pumps out deadbeat dad and allows women to just be negative towards men, or women to refuse contact on the basis of making money, it will perpetuate. I mean, that cycle needs to be broken, and I think changing people's attitudes towards it is part of the process.
Definitely so. Oh my gosh. So much I want to say. Oh my God! But
there's loads more to say.
I'm just like, man. But you're right. A child does need that other you know. My grandson was playing up, and she couldn't manage, and my son stepped in, and he was as good as gold. As good as gold.
We know psychologically. My qualifications are in therapy. We know psychologically that without a father in life, fathers bring resilience.
Yes. Right. You can now breathe. The toilet is straight down there because you want it, you know.
So who does the music?